Welcome to episode 26 of the MMG podcast. I am Chris, and I'm joined once again by my good friend Gocubs 711.
There are three types of quarterbacks in the NFL. The good, the bad, and the Bortles.
Oh, God. Oh, Blake Bortles. He represents the 2017 football season.
Bortle up.
Regardless of what happens this season, he will be the face of it, which might say a lot about this season, depending on how you feel about it. Yep. Anyways, welcome everyone to the divisional round preview pod. Of course, we have a lot to get to. We watched Wildcard Weekend, which was a ton better than last year's Wildcard Weekend. All four games going down to the last minute for the most part, except for maybe the Saturday night game, but even that was relatively close. I really enjoyed this Wildcard Weekend, and it was filled with some upsets as well.
Yeah,
we got some big things to talk about, and we'll also talk about the latest news, head coaching news, team news, regardless, whatever is happening with that. And we will discuss the divisional round matchups as well, who is remaining. But we're going to start. First things off. Well, first of all, how did you enjoy the Wildcard Weekend, Gocubs? Did you feel like, did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, yeah. The games were really fun to watch.
Compared to last year.
Some things were also really frustrating to watch. But overall, 3 out of the 4 games ended as a one-score game. And the last one was due to just young inexperience.
Yeah, I mean, we were hoping that wasn't going to be a factor, but we'll get into that. What would you say is your favorite game of the weekend?
I gotta give it to... honestly, probably Tennessee, Kansas City, and that was the one that everyone said was gonna suck the most.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was the surprise, a lot of fun, and just weirdness that happened. And it kind of set the tone for the weekend and the playoffs.
Yeah.
And you know, that anything.
I hope that shit continues.
And that anything is possible. And we'll start there. The Titans at the Chiefs. Going into this game, a lot of people were saying that the Chiefs were gonna blow the Titans to smithereens.
I was one of those people.
That there is no chance. The Titans have been just such trash, you know, this season.
And then the score was 21-3, and I was like, hey, I was right.
Right. And 21-3, yeah, the Chiefs just went on a fucking roll. And Travis Kelce was having a really great game. He ended up leaving the game, though, with a concussion, and that set the table for an 18-point wild card comeback by the Tennessee Titans, and the Titans move on to New England. And the biggest thing and most fun thing that happened in this game, what was that, Gocubs?
Marcus Mariota threw a touchdown pass to himself.
Yeah. Yes.
Did he plan to do that? No. Did that end up happening, and that's what was written down and processed as happening? Yes.
Yeah, essentially,
he threw a touchdown pass. He threw a pass. It was blocked by a defender, and Mariota grabbed it again and ran it in for a touchdown.
It was a very athletic play by Mariota. It was
amazing.
It was like he almost knew right as the football left his fingers, like, oh shit, this is not going to be complete. So I felt like he was almost tracking the ball the entire time. He saw that it was batted down by Darrelle Revis, and then Mariota caught it, and then he extended it for the touchdown, and that cut the lead, the Chiefs' lead from 21-3 to 21-10. And Mariota had a great game. Derrick Henry had a phenomenal game. He's picking up the pace. I think a lot of the reason for that is he doesn't have He doesn't have DeMarco Murray hanging by his side. Murray's already been ruled out for this upcoming week, but Murray was out last week, and it is more than likely, even if by some miracle the Titans move on, I don't think we're going to see him this playoffs, because just you see what Henry does. I really would be surprised if they continue trying to do the two-back thing. Henry should be and should remain the starting
running back
for the Titans.
You don't need Murray, just run Henry all the time.
Yeah. And for the first half of this game, like the Titans, like their defense was really exposed. You know, it was one of their great units in the league, and it was one of the main reasons why they got into the playoffs, and that kind of gave up on them. But second half came along, and Alex Smith, who had an incredible first half, just did not throw. I don't think he even threw 100 yards in the second half.
Yeah,
it was that dominant of a defensive performance. The offense was completely out of whack. You could say it was Kelsey leaving and not being in the game, which absolutely, but they did not really give the ball to Hunt a lot, which might have been a factor as well. It's just there's a lot of questions there of what happened to the Chiefs. They're done. They're out of the playoffs. A team that many people thought could beat the Steelers or beat the Patriots.
They haven't won a fucking home playoff game in so long.
Yeah, and this game came back. You went into this game as like, look, this is the time, this is the place where this streak will finally end for them. They can't get over the hump, and it's going to be hanging over the head for yet another off season. And now there's going to be questions of whether Alex Smith is going to be the starting quarterback going forward, if he's going to end up being traded, which would make a lot of sense for the Chiefs because Patrick Mahomes is in the lineup. But at the same time, there's that chance that Alex Smith was really good this year. Like, he had a career year in multiple categories, was one of the best quarterbacks to watch this year. Do you really want to give that up
for someone who you're not sure exactly what you're going to get from?
Right. It really brings up a key question to me, at least. Like, what do you do when you trade Alex Smith and then you have to rely on Patrick Mahomes, who in one career start had made some phenomenal throws, but he also looked kind of rusty. I don't really know. It's hard for me to really trust it right now. But, we'll talk about that when the offseason comes around. But the Chiefs, they bid goodbye to 2017 in painstakingly fashion. In the last playoff game, by the way, that the Titans and the Patriots played, they, in the second half, or at least their comebacks. Hold on, I have the number. Hold on.
Okay.
They were
46-3.
Yeah, they overcame. Right.
40. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They 46-3 was the.
Or 46-6, I guess.
46-6 is the deficit that they overcame in both of their playoff games combined, and they ended up winning each of those games, and so that's something that they can kind of relate to going into this weekend. So impressive win by the Titans, and a team that has shat in my mouth all season after me really rooting hard for them, and they're now kind of awakening. And boy, it would be really something if something special happened this weekend, but we'll see. Let's move on. The Falcons at the Rams.
Surprise.
Yeah, I mean, look, this was the team that many people were worried about, facing the Rams, because this is a Falcons team that has a lot of experience. Yes, they have the Super Bowl hanging in their heads, the idea of, blowing that 28-3 deficit. A lot of those players were back this year. Would that still linger in their heads? But they played this Rams team, a high-flying offense and a stout defense led by Aaron Donald, and they whooped them. I mean, look, it was a it was a 13-0 game at one point, and then the Rams came charging back to make it 13-10 at halftime, I believe it was, and then it just kind of fell apart from there. The Falcons kind of pulled away, and the Falcons looked like one of the most complete teams in the league,
like a Super Bowl contender.
I mean,
which they haven't all season, despite being in the Super Bowl last year.
Right. Well, one of the biggest gripes with this team was that their offense didn't really look the same.
You know what the Falcons figured out?
What is that?
They have a receiver named Julio Jones. And then they started throwing the ball to Julio Jones, and then they started winning.
You know, but
funny how that works.
It's true, and especially in the red zone. It's amazing to me how Jones was not used as much, and then once he finally was used, they're beating opponents like the Rams, who looked at times unstoppable. I think that if I'm the Rams, though, I go into this offseason very, very hopeful of the future. Like, while the Chiefs kind of go out with a, they have a comeback loss, essentially, that the team came back against them, and that there's a lot of questions about their quarterback, and, what's the future of that franchise. The Rams, we know what the future is. A lot of those players are going to be returning next year. You have a lot of players that were healthy, at the end of the season. There was a lot there for this Rams team, and you gotta have some optimism. I mean, yes, you lost, but it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but I think they're gonna be in good shape.
I think so too.
But
AFC West is going to be interesting next year with the Rams, Jimmy G 49ers, and maybe a Seahawks team.
And maybe Arizona. I think that's a deep division, but I think you're looking at the Niners and the Rams taking control. Yeah, I think that I could absolutely see it where they're the ones controlling this NFC West race, while the Seahawks and Cardinals might be competing for third. Because both of those teams are going to be in rebuild mode. Cardinals need to find a freaking quarterback. That's
a head coach.
And a head coach. I mean, we didn't discuss this. Well, we'll talk about it in the news section. But Carson Palmer has retired, so we'll talk about that in the news. Rams lose, but I think a bright future ahead. They have that playoff experience bit on their belt. And we'll see what happens in the playoffs next year. But the Falcons move on with a dominating performance, and they look like they could be a 6th seed that could make a difference going forward. Next, Bills at Jaguars. Can't believe this was a playoff game, but it was a 10-3 defensive battle with two not-so-great quarterbacks that made the game look ugly at times. And I know that a lot of people were like, oh man, this was I fucking hate this. Oh my god. I understand. I really enjoyed this game. This was everything that I wanted out of this game and more. I don't know. I was not expecting a high scoring affair. I wasn't expecting anything pretty. I was expecting an ugly game with defenses in control. There was some beautiful plays by the defense, especially the game sealing interception by Jalen Ramsey was a beautiful interception.
Amazing.
And but this game was everything that I would have wanted in a playoff game, because it was so unexpected and it was just so ugly. It was just like, I love it. 10-3, Jaguars pull it out, and they win their first playoff game since fucking what? It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
It was definitely their first home game since 1999. In the Bills,
first playoff game since 2007.
Say again?
2007.
Oh yeah, I remember they upset the Steelers in that game. The Bills, meanwhile, their playoff losing streak continues, but they at least got the taste of that sweet.
At least made the playoffs.
Yeah, they made the playoffs. That's no longer hanging over their heads. they have a shorter losing streak than the Bengals and Lions, so that's they can put that in their hats, you know. So that there's a lot of hope there for Buffalo. And I don't know. I like talking about the teams that were eliminated because we're not going to talk about them again. But you think about Buffalo and where they're at when you consider how everyone viewed this team going into the season. It was a roster that was in the midst of rebuilding, that it most likely will take a while for them to contend. I still feel like that with this team, but they did make the playoffs, and I think you can attribute some of that to the coaching of this team. You can attribute, I guess, some of that to luck, but they did go 9-7, and they got the tiebreaker. I don't really know what I can say to reassure Bills fans that maybe this could be the start of maybe multiple playoff appearances in multiple years, but you have a coach who I really like. I like Sean McDermott. I think he made a dumbass decision with Nathan Peterman, but I hope that I'm just gonna attribute that to him being a rookie coach and not really knowing what the fuck to do in a situation like that. I just watched a video of him in his end of year conference where he took the time to actually shake every single hand of every single media member, which is you don't really see from coaches because the coaches don't want to talk to the media. They want to avoid them at all costs. And
yep.
He's just a really nice guy, and to kind of have that guy leading your team, it has to feel nice for them. So I think that there's a glimmer of hope in Buffalo. Not anything like a bright future that you're going to contend next year or anything like that. But maybe there's something going on. We'll have to see how it plays out. The Jags move on to the Steel City to potentially take out.
Face the team that they have beat before this season.
Damn right. Panthers at the Saints. I would say this was my favorite game of the week. I really did enjoy Titans and Chiefs. I think that's up there.
This was going to be the other one that I was going to say.
But this one was a very fun game. I know it didn't end up working out for you, Go Cubs, but
that's all right.
It was to the end, very intense.
The Panthers were a lot more competitive than I was expecting them to be.
Right.
But the Saints are by and far the better team.
Yeah, and I think that when you look at the Saints, they started out with the early big lead, and you kind of felt like, all right, well, this is how it's gonna play out. The Saints are just gonna pull away, but the Panthers, they stuck in it. The Saints' defense might be a bit of a concern going forward, but they really made some amazing plays down the stretch to really shut down the Panthers after a while. Drew Brees had a great game with the exception of the fourth down play, which I understand why they went for it. I just don't understand why they decided to throw. That was a bit weird.
And I don't know, like imagine if the Panthers defender just deflected it instead of catching it.
Right, they would have had better field position.
That was a huge mistake.
And that they could have
20 yards better field position.
Right, and that's a key thing, and that's what it ends up coming down to in these games when you have, like, it literally is, it's the cliche of the game of inches, but that literally was showcased in this game, by all accounts, and so yeah, but I think you can hand it to the Saints, and they have such a complete team overall. That I think that they're going to be a team to be reckoned with moving forward. And for the Panthers, they just fired their offensive coordinator, Mike Shula. They got to revamp the offense. They need to find an identity. Because I know that they said they didn't want to run Cam Newton a lot, and they ended up doing so anyway.
Look, they got Newton.
Right.
They got McCaffrey, who's turned out to be pretty good.
Yeah,
I think.
He's very good at catching the ball and like really like getting. He has really nice speed. The hard part with him is hard for him to run the ball in the trenches.
Yeah.
With him.
But even then, it's a pretty good offensive line too, I think.
Yeah, no, I Jonathan Stewart was great this year. He had a pretty solid year.
And like just figure out how to play to all their strengths. Get a receiver to help out Olsen and Funches, and
right. Well, that's the thing. It's weird that both of your teams this year have the similar problem. Is that the wide receivers?
Like the Panthers have a better defense than the Bears, but like you got the quarterback, you got the two pretty good running backs who do different things.
You got the RB tandem.
Pretty good offensive line. You just need fucking receivers.
Right. You need help.
And coaches who know what to do with them.
Right. And I understood why they traded Benjamin, because that he just didn't fit with that offense, but you can't it's really tough when your number one wide receiver is Devin Funchess and the number two is like Kalen Clay, or I believe his name is. Like it's very tough to win like that. And yeah, again, good for the Panthers. They were as competitive as they could be in this game. It was the most competitive they were in this series all year after losing their first two games. It just didn't work out for them. There was some controversy at the end of the game, or near the end of the game, where there's a horn outside. Jesus.
I heard that.
Carolina, or Cam Newton was hit in the head, went down, and he got back up and started walking to the sidelines, and then it looked like he kind of went back down to the ground, so people wanted to investigate if he had a concussion. Usually if you show signs of instability, you just go right to the locker room, but it ended up happening that Cam Newton was out for one play, and then he went back in. We later find out that it was simply an eye injury, and that he did not have a concussion. But this is an issue. This is an issue with the NFL and the concussion protocol. There's a lot that the NFL has to look at, and I feel like, we could talk all the time, catch rule needs to be fixed, replay needs to be looked at and all that. But if we're just talking about player safety, you gotta look at the concussion protocol, because not even like, let's say your concussion protocol is working just fine, which it isn't, but the optics of all these players and all these analysts that are saying how bullshit your concussion protocol is, there's an issue there, and you gotta fix it, and you gotta make a statement out of it. I see a great point from a football doctor online. His name is David Chow, I believe. And he says that they should have they have like the I'm not gonna know the medical term for it, but there's a guy up top of the stadium, or near the top of the stadium, that evaluates the players and can watch the players and can tell if they have concussion symptoms rather. And I wish, and the doctor that I'm talking about wishes that doctor, just like the refs have like an interview after the game, that guy could talk after the game about what he saw and what the process is and all that, because that would make it so much more open to the audience and to the people at home who want to understand it, and to the players and to the teams who want to understand how the fuck they determine if someone has a concussion and if it's a safe protocol or not. That it's so crucial that they do that moving forward. It's an important topic for the league. So that's that. Is there anything that I forgot in any of these four games? Not necessarily in games, but just maybe like just general storylines.
Blake Bortles has won more playoff games this year than Brady and Roethlisberger combined.
All right. I mean, all right.
You can't say that I'm wrong.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, Blake Bortles facts is you gotta rely on those facts to to stick by them.
Look, if anything, they're facts.
Beyond anything.
You cannot argue with them.
It's true. It's very
because
true.
They are true.
It is very true. So we got, God damn it, we got out of this round the 3-seeded Jaguars, the 4-seeded Saints, the 5-seeded Titans, and the 6-seeded Falcons moving on. So we got one of everything. The West Division's completely eliminated. There's no one in the West Division remaining from either the AFC or the NFC. So that's completely gone.
I mean, there were only 2 teams.
No, yes, but they were both eliminated and unexpectedly.
On the same day.
On the same day, exactly. Which by
also both of my Super Bowl picks.
I was just about to ask because I know that we could do this at near the end, but I'll give you an opportunity to maybe to pick another 2 teams that you think can make it.
I'm already fucked, so.
Well, no, I like to see you go bold. I will appreciate it if you do so, but I won't hold it against you either. I don't think anyone will at this point because you got fucked royally. I think in this first round.
Yeah.
We won't judge you no matter what you choose. Moving forward. Let's talk some news real quick. We talked last week about rumors groomers about John Gruden being the Oakland Raiders head coach. Well, that was the case scenario. It was an awkward Monday Night Football, or at least ESPN booth. Sean McDonough. Oh, by the way, Sean McDonough had some amazing calls during that Titans-Chiefs games. Just voice cracking all over the place. Even at one point where we all thought that the Chiefs recovered a fumble, returned it for a touchdown. He was just like, he led the team in fumbles in the game. as he was running down the field, and you're just like, oh my god, he's almost incoherent. But that was the Sean McDermott, Sean McDonough that I've been waiting for this entire time. I was so excited when he got the job at Monday Night Football, but he's been so boring. I want voice cracks. Give me more voice cracks. Anyways, so John Gruden, he said goodbye to the ESPN booth. He's returning to the sidelines. What do you think about this move, Gocubs?
I don't know. He hasn't coached in a while, and the Raiders they didn't do well, but they didn't do terrible. I guess they were in the bottom 10 leagues, bottom 10 teams in the league, so maybe they didn't do shit. But
yeah. I feel bad for Jack Del Rio, man. I understand Mark Davis. He gave this whole I had a dream that Reggie McKenzie and John Gruden would reunite and for the Raiders, or not reunite, but would be working together for Oakland and all that. And I hear him and I understand it. I just don't know if this was the right move right now. I think you could have waited, because you gotta give Jack Del Rio another shot, man. He above all else led a team with a really bad defense in 2016. Almost, they were considered Super Bowl contenders because of how great their offense was. And then you had Del Rio, or then you had Derek Carr go down in the Colts game, and that kind of all fell apart. But you can't, I don't know, I just think that you have to give a guy more of a shot there. I don't know. I guess I'm just not in the head of an owner, but you know very well that I don't think
this hires more publicity than anything.
Right, that, and I just think that it could have been anyone as the head coach. In fact, it probably could have been that Del Rio had a winning record, made the playoffs, made it to the divisional round or something like that, and he could have been fired for Gruden. Still.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know. Maybe this plan has been in the works since Del Rio first got there. I mean, we don't know how long this has been, because I know that Gruden has been longtime friends with the owner. Regardless, look, I'm excited for it because Gruden is such a weird intense personality.
Uh,
That's gonna be some fun, NFL Films mic'd up segments, and it's gonna bring some great press conferences probably and all that. I will. I'll wait to see how it goes on the football field though itself. Let's talk about your team though. Matt Nagy. Matt Nagy is your new head coach of the Chicago Bears, a guy who came off one of the toughest losses to deal with in Kansas City. He was the Kansas City offensive coordinator, shouldered the blame for the late game, play calling, and led to a lot of Bears fans being upset because they're like, "Oh, well, he just blew a fucking lead. How can we trust him?" But look, Bears fans, you can't rely on just the one fucking game. He single-handedly turned this Chiefs team around. After
the Chiefs probably wouldn't have made the playoffs if Matt Nagy wasn't calling the plays.
Exactly.
Look, Andy Reid is a phenomenal coach, and usually the people who come out of his coaching staff end up being pretty good head coaches.
There's a lot of head coaches from Andy Reid, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That being said, Andy Reid is also a huge control freak. Yeah. So the fact that he gave Matt Nagy play calling duties, which is a huge deal for him, shows that Matt Nagy's capable of being a play caller and even being a head coach. So I'm really excited with the hire.
Absolutely, and he said that he's one of the best head coaching prospects he's ever had. That's high praise from Andy Reid. I liked it, and there is some people again on Twitter that I saw that were like, his press conference is kind of boring. And I was like, okay, yeah, compare it to Gruden, but Gruden's out of his fucking mind. Nagy, I really liked his press conference. I thought he was a nice guy. To me, it had some, not as much energy as Sean McVay's press conference, but he certainly had that kind of energy and excitement of, being the Bears head coach and knowing what he's getting into. And I don't know. I definitely liked hearing from him because that's the most important thing to me. To see a hire happen and react to it is one thing. To actually hear them talk about the team and what's moving forward is another. And it helps me really learn about someone. I think you got someone good in Matt Nagy.
Yeah. Now, I also one thing that like some people, well, why didn't they wait longer and maybe try to get one of the a coach from one of the teams that are still in the playoffs? Matt Nagy was like a huge commodity, and Ryan Pace is once Ryan Pace wants something, he'll get it.
Clearly, we saw that with the Trubisky trade.
Yeah,
insane.
He has very little patience in terms of like waiting for something.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of like he doesn't want to wait, but he will wait until he gets his thing. I'm not making any sense.
No, I get what you mean.
He's persistent, but also patient. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Well, no, like I don't know if he knows what he wants. I think I guess is what. And
I was
right
on the radio. They were talking. Apparently, like everyone came into work Monday for the Bears at Hallis Hall, and Pace wasn't there. And then about midday, they got a call, and it was like, "Hey, I'm in Kansas City. I just hired a new head coach."
Oh wow! All right.
Yeah.
All right. That's not significant.
But to interview Matt Nagy.
He's like talking about it as if he was just picking up donuts at the local Dunkin' Donuts, just bring it to the office. Oh, hey, I'm just your head coach.
I'm 2 states away. 2 state lengths away. Just hired our head coach.
Wow. Yeah.
Be back soon.
Yeah, and Nagy knew that. I think he knew during that Kansas City game that he was going to be the Bears head coach. He kind of talked about it during his press conference. He said that after the game, that the Bears organization contacted him and say, look, if you need more time before you take over, that's totally fine. Take as much time as you need to recover from that. We understand that you're in pain, probably from losing that. So just take whatever time, and that kind of encouraged him to get there as soon as possible because he loved the idea that the Bears were almost there for him. After such a rough loss. I know that we're talking much more about Nagy than Gruden, but I actually am more excited for Nagy than Gruden because I just don't. I feel like Gruden, based off of everything that I've seen from Gruden, there was a stretch after he won the Super Bowl in 2002, which was Tampa Bay, but it was Buccaneers and Raiders again. I still can't believe that was a Super Bowl. The fact that he went down the stretch, he kind of did not get along with players. He was kind of ruthless. He didn't really win a lot of games. He never really found his franchise quarterback. I mean, now he has one, but I'm not necessarily putting all my faith in Gruden. I know the Raiders fans will, and I hope they prove me wrong because that would be a lot of fun to watch. But I feel like there's a little bit more optimism with Nagy, and he has already.
I think so too.
He's already hired. He actually just hired Mark Helfrich, who is the Oregon head coach, and
it's likely that Vic Fangio is staying around, which will probably keep most of the defensive assistant coaches around too.
I believe that's confirmed. That he's going to remain defensive coordinator. Helfrich is going to be the offensive coordinator, which is a huge. Helfrich is going to bring a different concepts in with offensively. Nagy kind of focuses on spread offenses. Helfrich does more West Coast offenses, and they're gonna have like a merging of that playbook. And you have Fangio, who I will still pound the table here for the Bears as a frisky team this year because their defense, when healthy, was very fun at times. Oh, it's
awesome. And our special teams too.
And the special teams, I don't know what's happening with the Bears special teams coordinator at all, but the special teams was a lot of fun, and so I have a lot of faith in the Bears, and I hope to see them do well especially for your sake, go Cubs.
Me too.
I know.
Look, all I want is 8-8. That's my expectation
for this next upcoming season.
That is all that I want.
Yeah. Any
more is exceeding expectation, but
do you think that Bears fans, like the ones that frequently wear fedoras, they just go Manegi?
Why would you say that? Where did that come from?
I've been waiting to say that since last week. I don't know. There's just something about it that just sounds so funny to me.
Also, we've been saying it wrong. Actually, it's Nagy.
It is Nagy. All right, so Managi.
I didn't want you to say it again. Just so you're aware.
Insightful football analysis and just really weird shit. This is what the podcast is, and it will always be.
Can we move on?
Yes. All right. So Matt Nagy, congratulations, the Bears, on that hire. We'll see what the rest of it unfolds. Here's another story. Well, let's talk about Carson Palmer first. He's out. He is now retired. And that is the second of the three-headed cardinal monster that has retired. Arians was the first. Palmer is the second. What is the situation with Larry Fitzgerald is the biggest question. But kudos to Palmer, and on on being around for so long, and even though had multiple times switched teams and having kind of like a rusty end to his Bengal tenure and leading his team to the NFC Championship game the year after he tore his ACL.
Being a guest star on Disney's The Replacements.
What?
Yeah.
That was a thing. Okay,
Yeah.
I add that to his legacy. You know, one of my favorite games, um, ever. At least in this era, in the Cardinals era, because I was around for most of it. I'm so glad to say, was the Cardinals Packers playoff game. It to me that
Yes.
still goes down as I would say my favorite football game of all time, for my time of being a football fan, and it was so incredible, and the way that Carson Palmer, uh, just he like clicked near the end of that game, and he nearly got taken down by a defender, but then he all of a sudden saw Larry Fitzgerald, threw it to him, and Fitzgerald just hooked off down the field. Like if that like that to me will be the lasting image of that trio, and it's really unfortunate that they never won the Super Bowl together. Maybe if Fitzgerald holds on for one more year and the Cardinals, some magic shit's gonna have to happen. But if they could pull it off next year, he'll walk off a champion. But
Yeah, I don't think it's.
it doesn't seem likely.
Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen for Fitz. But
Yeah, but
he's one of the greatest wide receivers ever to play the game.
right, he'll be in the Hall of Fame. And Carson Palmer probably not going to be in the Hall of Fame, but still an excellent career, good guy overall, and we hope to see him do well. One last story, and it involves the New England Patriots. So
you take this one.
yeah, I'm gonna try my best to include the most important stuff, at least in this. So ESPN, I believe it was Seth Wickersham, whatever his fucking name is. Anyways, he published a story on Saturday. The basic summary of it all is that the Belichick-Brady relationship has gone bad, essentially. They're dealing with a lot of friction. Kind of stems from Alex Guerrero, the personal trainer, that he was luring players to work with him and not with the team staff, even though that's what Belichick wanted. And Belichick grew frustrated from that, and he ended up banning Guerrero. We knew that actually happened, that Guerrero did get banned from the Patriots facility. Brady supposedly was angry that he didn't get the Patriot of the Week award at all this season, I guess. That was a storyline. He also apparently ordered Alex Guerrero to lock Jimmy Garoppolo.
Conflicts in their participation ribbons.
It's fucking millennials, man.
Millennial Tom Brady. No.
Right, exactly. Tom Brady is every millennial ever. Now, that he ordered Guerrero to lock Jimmy Garoppolo out of the facility, or at least it was, I don't know, something weird happened there. And Belichick is just getting so frustrated with the organization as a whole, that he was even forced to. He felt like he was forced to trade Jimmy G, and he ended up only getting a second rounder out of it. He may have wanted them to just get a second rounder so that way the Patriots were in rougher shape. I don't know, but Belichick, he made it sound like through this reporting that this could be the final year of Belichick. That it's raining in Foxborough, and bullshit. I cannot. Look, I'm not gonna credit. ESPN is one of the more reliable sports websites out there, sports networks, whatever, however, and I trust that a lot of the reporting is correct, but I do have the sense that it's a little overestimated. And I think by the sheer publishing of the story, one, you've just given the Patriots ammo for the rest of this playoffs. Like now the Super Bowl, when the Patriots inevitably win the Super Bowl this year, it's gonna be because that they had this ESPN story hanging over their heads, and then this dynasty is gonna go on for another 15 fucking years.
Yeah.
You know that's
Tom Brady's 60 and has 14 Super Bowl wins by this point.
Right, exactly. Like, it's unreal. Everyone has given up watching the NFL because the Patriots just keep winning. Like, it's gotten to that point. No, look, and
Belichick is kept alive by robot. I'm dragging this out.
It's like he's like in the head. It's like with the fucking Futurama shit. No, I look. If there's any truth to this, and people think that Belichick is going to be retiring, God knows he's going to be stepping down. He's most likely he would go into retirement, because I just don't. I understand he has this drive for football, but I just don't see him going anywhere else, especially not the Giants. I understand the reporting that everyone's like, oh, maybe he might go to the Giants. Fuck that, guys. Stop it with that. You're getting like, Giants fans have like this. They think that they're gonna go from Ben fucking McAdoo to Bill Belichick. It's like going from the hobo on the street to Jesus. Like, you can't. It's not possible to do that. You can't have that much of a leap. You'll at least get like maybe Matt Patricia or Josh McDaniels, someone that's on that Patriots staff. Forget it, Giants fans. Enough. You're not gonna get Nick Saban either. Fuck you guys. Fuck all you guys.
They really want Nick Saban?
Yes.
They really think that team is worth Nick Saban?
Yes. They actually think Nick
shithole of a team.
Nick Saban. People think that Nick Saban wants to. So I saw someone tweet earlier.
Nick Saban does not want to leave Alabama.
No, he won't. I don't understand.
Never will.
Vince Lombardi.
Nick Saban will never be an NFL coach.
Vince Lombardi will come out of the grave to coach the Giants at this point. I don't.
Michael Strahan.
You know what? He'll probably end up being the coach after all this, right?
He'll have his Good Morning America job in Fox NFL. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Just fuck it. You know, I'm Giants head coach. Look, when it comes to this Patriots, and I am someone that wants to see this Patriots dynasty die, and I will say that I hate I don't like being like that, but it sucks watching the same team win over and over again, especially if it's the same people. And I understand Patriots fans are gonna look at them like, oh, you're just salty. Well, like, yeah, I am, because I want to enjoy. I would love to see other people or other teams rather lift the trophy at the end of it all, and it would be fun, and it's exciting, and it just sucks when it happens over and over again. Look, if the Patriots end up winning it all this year, they deserve it. They're a great team, and they deserve anything that comes their way. I don't think it's going to be ending this year. I think you're starting to see Brady regress a little bit. That could be a storyline. It also could not. He's probably could be a robot for all we know. I am just, we'll take it, yo. We're on to Tennessee, you know, as they say. You know, we'll see what happens moving forward with that. So that's my ESPN explanation.
Okay.
Anyways, I think that's all the news. I don't think that there's anything other significance that I need to go over. So let us move into the actual divisional round, and we're gonna start with the Falcons at the Eagles, 4:30 on NBC. This is going to be a battle between a 6 seed and a 1 seed, but very rarely have we seen the 6 seed be favored over the 1 seed, and that is exactly what's happening here. It's the Nick Foles effect. Gocubs, what are you most looking forward to for this game?
Okay, so, I wanted the Eagles to do well. I really did. But seeing how they played the last couple weeks, especially seeing how they played with their starters the past couple weeks, they're so shitty. They're really bad. Carson Wentz This season really was once in a lifetime for them, as the hashtag is that they do.
Oh.
Because they're never gonna have something like this again. And this might this might be the only season where they have something like this.
It could be like that. I don't necessarily. I think that this team is young enough. It has a lot of teams or players on it that if they could play at this level again next year, that I could see them contending. But you know, it could be the Raiders too. So who knows?
Yeah. So yeah, I want to see the Falcons prove that the last game wasn't a fluke.
All right, that's fair. I think that this is going to be a tough battle for the Falcons. I'm willing to say that. I understand that Nick Foles is the quarterback, but the Eagles, the last two outings after they, how the fuck did they give up that many yardage and touchdowns to the Giants? I don't know. Yeah. But against the Raiders and Cowboys, who are, I think, much better offenses, they really stepped up their game defensively.
They couldn't score any points though.
Well, right. That's the big concern. So the big thing to me to watch is going to be the Falcons' offense versus the Eagles' defense. Because if the Eagles' defense comes to play, the Falcons are going to have to rely on their defense to. Well, they can stop Nick Foles. Never mind. But regardless, it's going to be an interesting battle between the Eagles' defense and the Falcons' offense. Can the Eagles give Nick Foles enough opportunities to score? Can the Eagles defense slow down Matt Ryan in that offense, shut down Julio Jones? You know, there's a lot that's going to have to go their way. They have the home field advantage. There's a lot that can go in their favor, but it's the Foles factor that's going to be the big concern. Who do you have in this game?
I have to say the Falcons. I think they're, especially after beating the Panthers and now beating the 3-seed Rams, they're on a hot streak, and Matty Ice is not going to cool down.
I agree with you. I'm going to say Falcons, and maybe
it's so weird to just discount the 1 seed like that and just discount the Eagles that have done pretty well this season, but well with Carson Wentz and not really without him.
It's this team as a whole needs to step up around Foles, especially the running game is also going to be huge with Blunt and Ajayi. They need to have some big games.
They need to be running backs.
Because otherwise it's I don't know if this team is going to end up taking it. So I'm going with the Falcons as well. Should be I still think it's going to be a good game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout at all. I think it's going to be closer than maybe some people might think. Titans at Patriots. What looks like the most lopsided matchup of the playoffs to this point. I mean, what do the Titans have here that could pull the upset? Go Cubs.
A quarterback who throws a touchdown pass to himself.
Okay.
Has Brady ever done that? Has he?
Well, I guess he's lateral to another player who then threw that ball to Tom Brady.
But did that ball leave Tom Brady's hands and then land in Tom Brady's hands?
I guess technically, if we're talking, he lateraled it to someone, it was in his hands, and then that person.
Yeah, but from Brady directly to Brady, with no one else holding physically having possession of it. No,
I don't think so. No, I'm almost certain it's not happened before.
Look, crazier things have happened.
No, yeah,
it just happened last week.
Right.
The Patriots fucking came back from a 28-3 deficit. The Titans also came back from a 21-3 deficit.
Mm-hmm. Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I think that that the Titans. We can't say anything is certain in this league. I mean, that's why doing those guarantees over the course of the season got kind of brutal after a while, especially for me because I could never get a guarantee right. But when you can't guarantee anything in this league, and when it seems so obvious that team is gonna, beat another team, it doesn't always happen. And the Patriots have been a model of consistency. They have, but they also lost to the Dolphins. Granted, that was without Gronk, but they lost to the Dolphins. So
Jay Cutler beat Tom Brady this season.
Right, and the
Jay Cutler beat Tom Brady this season. I just wanted to say that a second time.
Yeah, Patriots defense is a big concern. But they also, like, talent-wise, they're concerned, but they've also been able to hold teams to less than 20 points in a lot of outings, and you know they find ways to win, and it's kind of incredible that way. Part of the reason why I want Matt Patricia to be the Giants coach, because I just think it's insane that with not a lot of talent, he's able to create great defenses.
Yeah. So,
what do you think's going to happen here?
I think that the Chiefs could have beaten the Patriots if they ended up winning that game and ended up here.
Absolutely.
I seriously, 100% sincerely think that. Yeah, they beat the Patriots in the season opener. Can the Titans do that? Absolutely fucking not. Unless some weird shit happens, and Brian Hoyer ends up being the quarterback for most of the game, the Patriots are going to demolish the Titans. I have to go with the Patriots.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to predict any injuries here, but
right.
I know, right. I think that you have that scenario, where that something could happen to the Patriots. Or like the way that that the Titans could win is through a running game and through the defense. The defense has been pretty solid this year, but it just seems overmatched in a lot of ways. It's really tough to go up to New England.
If this upset happens, it will destroy the world.
I will talk more about this after we get done picking games, because I do have additional things to say, but we'll wait.
Right.
Let's talk Jaguars at the Steelers. The Steelers and Jaguars are different teams for the most part since week 5. The Blake Bortles has kind of regressed. Leonard Fournette slowed down. The Steelers had gone on a hot streak after the Jags lost, rather, and then the only other time that the Steelers lost was to the Patriots, to a rough catching call.
Yeah,
I guess I don't want to blame it on that, but that was a rough game to lose. But regardless of all that, it's an interesting game because you have one of the best defenses in the league going up against one of the best offenses in the league. A lot to take away from this game and to look forward to. What are you most looking forward to in this game?
To see Bortles. To see if he's good Bortles or bad Bortles.
I feel like you have a odd and reasonably understanding obsession with Blake Bortles, and I appreciate that.
Look, I want the Jaguars to do well so badly. They are my babies this season.
They are your babies this season.
They're my babies.
I conceived them in my football vagina. Oh my god. Oh my god. I really enjoy that you've been riding hard with this Jaguars team, though.
Look, and unfortunately I can't do like a clever slogan like the Panthers keep pounding. I can't change it to keep jagging or whatever.
Jag off.
Jag off. But look, if we get good Bortles this game and the defense intercepts Ben Roethlisberger 5 times like they did earlier in the season, I think there's a chance the Jaguars can pull it off. Just for the meme, I'm gonna choose the Jaguars. But
you're going with the Jaguars.
Whoever wins this game is who I want to be in the AFC Championship, because if it's or who I want to win the AFC Championship. Because if it's the Jaguars, that'll just be the funniest fucking thing ever. That the Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Patriots and the Steelers to get to the Super Bowl.
Yep. And you would prefer
the Steelers. The Steelers, I've I've actually might have seen more Steelers games this season than I have Bears games, which is weird to say.
They were on a lot, yeah.
They were, but I don't know. Like the Steelers have been the at least to me at least this season, the chosen ones who could take down the Patriot Titans or whatever. Like physical, huge, bulking Titans, not that team from Tennessee.
Sorry, Tennessee. Even if you pull two great upsets, we still don't want to see you in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, even if you fucking beat the Patriots, fuck off. So yeah, whoever wins this game is who I want to see in the championship. I'm gonna root for the Jaguars so badly.
Mm.
But the Steelers are probably gonna win. Who knows?
I appreciate that you picked the Jaguars because I think that is a really solid. I don't
terrible pick.
No. I disagree. I think that's a great pick, and I think that. I think the only thing that we really know for certain going into this weekend is that the Patriots are probably going to beat the Titans. Outside of that, there's really a lot of uncertainty because we know what happened with the Jaguars teams before. We saw them go into Pittsburgh. We saw them beat them 30-0 or 30-9 rather. It was an incredible beatdown for a team that many thought the Steelers were like going to contend, and they still are. But it was one of those moments they were like, "Whoa, are they not ready?" It made Ben Roethlisberger contemplate retirement.
Yeah,
it's like
that's how bad he got beat
by
this Jaguars team.
Like you can't count out the Jaguars in this game. I'm sorry, I have to go with the Steelers because
of course.
Because
that's the smart choice.
Because the only reason why is because I would have gone with the Jags here, but all the reports of Antonio Brown not only returning but being 100%, which is absolutely insane considering how that injury looked against the Patriots.
Yeah,
I mean the fact that he might be 100% against the Jags. I think it's going to be a huge factor. I think the Steelers got better after the Jags matchup. I think the Jags got kind of worse down the stretch. They kind of won ugly against the Bills. I'm gonna go with the Steelers. But I'm not gonna be surprised with no matter how the matchup ends.
If there's good Bortles and good Fournette, the Jags will win.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. Let's do now the final matchup. I think the cream of the crop of the divisional round playoffs. It is the Saints at the Vikings. A game that is a rematch of Week 1, but it is we talked a little bit how the Jags and Steelers are kind of different from Week 5 or whatever. These are two completely different teams from Week 1 when they played on Monday Night Football to now. You had Sam Bradford starting that week. You had Adrian Peterson in the running back, group of the Saints. Alvin Kamara was barely a fucking thing.
Stephon Diggs was running back for the Vikings.
No, Dalvin Cook. You mean?
Dalvin Cook, right?
Yeah, Stephon Diggs. He's still
Diggs
there.
Is the wide receiver who's still playing.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Oops.
It's okay. But the Vikings. They had a really solid win against the Saints, but the Saints have changed a lot too. They went from being 0-2, and went on to go 11-3 down the. They went 11-3 down the stretch.
11-3 down the stretch,
which is incredible and awesome. And this Saints team has become a very good all-around team. But the Vikings have two. Case Keenum you could make the argument that he's had a kind of MVP season a little bit, just a tiny bit, not as much as other players, but he's had a really solid season. He's actually a capable starting quarterback, which I can't believe I'm saying it, but that's the truth. That's the truth of the matter. Keenum has had an incredible season.
Case Keenum is incredible.
Yeah, and
he will wherever he ends up. If the Vikings decide to part ways with him to
roll with
Bridgewater, Bradford.
Yeah.
like he's gonna get a starting job somewhere.
Yeah,
Right from
he
the get
will,
go.
and he
And
should.
another thing about Keenum, he holds the NCAA all-time like passing records and touchdown records.
Yeah, from his time in Houston.
Yeah, which is
University of
not a
Houston.
stat that people really know
Yeah, well, because like
or know that it's Keenum who has that.
well, because people to think you compare college stats to pro stats, and it's like well, it could be two different players once they
Right.
go to the pros. But but Keenum's magic, at least when he was at Houston, it's now kind of replicating in this Viking season.
Yeah.
And now it's looking really likely that the Vikings could be hosting a Super Bowl for the
But
first
they're
time
also
ever.
in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like that would be insane. Um, but this is going to be a really tough matchup to them. I feel, and I as much as the Falcons, I think have been really solid. I think the winner of this game is going to the Super Bowl. I genuinely feel like that. I think this is going to be a very close.
I feel a step further.
You,
Whoever wins this game is going to win the Super Bowl.
you think they're going to win the Super Bowl? The
Yes.
Super Bowl winner is playing in this game.
Yes.
Fair enough.
I legitimately 100% feel that.
Wow. All right.
I feel
like it.
that there are a lot of cracks that could surface in the AFC teams that and the NFC these two teams are just so much more well-rounded, I feel.
Yeah. Yeah, I
That
I agree with that. Yeah.
yeah.
I look. I mean, I can't. You know me. I'm never gonna count out the Pats, but my goodness, these are two really complete teams, and I'm really looking forward to this matchup. What are you most looking forward to in this game?
I don't know, just seeing what's going to be the best game.
In this, well, in this game, I mean, like, what are you most looking forward
Yeah.
to with this?
I don't know.
You're just looking forward to.
I'm really excited to watch this game.
Yeah, yeah. What is your pick?
I'm gonna go with the Vikings just because the Saints obviously have the better quarterback and running backs, but I think overall with with how good the Vikings defense is and how like pretty decent the Vikings offense is, and better than decent, like good offense with Keenum and Murray and Thielen and Diggs and Kyle Rudolph, the tight end. The Vikings offense has been so consistent in terms of their production, and combined with their amazing defense, I think that the Vikings are going to win this game.
Yeah, and I think that this is. I'm really excited for this game because the Minnesota crowd, the first game in US Bank Stadium, which I think is one of the best stadiums in the NFL, to see that filled with Vikings fans cheering on their team. But I hate to do it to you, Vikings fans. I got the Saints in this game. The reason why is because I just have this faith in Drew Brees. He had a phenomenal game against the Panthers, and yeah. I know that people are gonna point to that fourth down thing, and I get it. It was not well executed, and I don't know whether to put that on Brees or the play call or whatever. But beyond that, he had such an amazing game, and I truly think that if anything's gonna happen, it's gonna be he's gonna be a huge problem for the Vikings defense. And if they shut him down, they still have to deal with both Ingram and Kamara in this game. I think that's gonna be a huge factor. I like Drew Brees' chances against the Vikings defense a little bit more than Case Keenum's chances against the Saints defense. I even though the Saints defense has had some holes, I have this feeling that the Case Keenum on the stage might fall, and so as insurance, I'm going with the Saints. But I will not be surprised again if the Vikings win it. I think this is a very, very close game. I think it's a coin flip game, and it's going to be incredible.
Sweet.
So that is 2 games we defer on for this postseason weekend, which I'm very much happy about. because we could make it a little bit more interesting, and you can also pull ahead now because you're right now just one game behind me after the picks. We had a really bad weekend actually last weekend.
No, it is shit weekend. I got the fucking Jaguars as my only pick right.
Yeah. It was just Jaguars and Saints, and that was it from that. But you could pull even with me if you get all your picks right. But and if I fall apart, of course. So here's what I wanted to do before we end off the podcast, because I really had a moment last night. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was really thinking about this. I really... This is such a fascinating year, and it has been such a fascinating year. It's been chaotic, it's been weird, and I've loved every second of it. It's been one of my favorite... I think it has been my favorite football season to this point.
Nice.
But I had this feeling about the Pats being in the Super Bowl and winning it all, or even the Steelers if they win it all. You know, you have these two franchises who have combined for 11 Super Bowl titles, who have combined for 17 Super Bowl appearances. And I'm like, God, I'm so sick of that. I don't want to see the same teams. I really don't want to see it. It would really hurt me inside to see either of those teams in it. I would be fine with the Steelers getting in over the Patriots because the Steelers haven't been in since 2010 at least. I'll accept it, you know, ultimately. But here's the thing. I want to talk to the Jaguars and Titans right now, okay? Because this is
just one talk.
Yeah, I just want to talk one on one, or I want to sit with a Jaguar and a Titan in the room and just want to have a discussion, because I want to do something. If you guys are able to pull off these upsets, okay?
All right.
If the Jaguars and the Titans win this weekend, I will donate $25 each to a charity in both Jacksonville and Nashville.
That's really awesome of you.
So if Nashville, if Titans beat the Patriots and if the Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Steelers, and it's the Titans-Jaguars AFC Championship, which it all ties back to 1999. That was the last time and the only other time that the Titans and Jaguars played in the AFC Championship game.
Holy shit.
The last time the Jaguars hosted an AFC Championship game, and they would host it again if they did it again this season. Titans and Jaguars, $25 each to both of you guys, if you guys are able to pull it off. But I'm not going to leave you guys out if, let's say, the Patriots win this weekend or the Steelers win this weekend. I'm not going to leave you guys out on this. If the Jaguars, let's say, because they're the most likely team to pull this off, beat the Steelers and beat the Patriots, I'll donate $50 to a Jacksonville organization.
All right.
And if the Titans do it, if the Titans beat the Patriots and beat the Steelers, I'll donate $50 to an organization as well, to a Nashville organization.
Yeah.
I won't look at any charities yet. I won't even contemplate any other details on this right now. This is what I want to see happen. Because to me, to have the most chaotic season end in a Titans-Jaguars AFC Championship games.
AFC South AFC Championship.
Or the Jaguars going to the Super Bowl, or Titans going to the Super Bowl. You know, Titans, you've shat in my mouth all season. Okay? You've coated my esophagus with feces because of how poorly you have played. Okay? But you guys have, even though you guys have been so mediocre, you guys have still been able to go 9-7 down the stretch and make it into the playoffs, and you guys were able to upset the Chiefs, and you guys maybe fall in love with you guys again because you guys are starting to show signs of life. If you could pull this shit off, I'm donating the charity, baby, and I'm gonna do it for Nashville. All right. So that's my proposal. I am not, and I promise, because it will be worth it to me. It'll be worth it for Team Chaos. It'll be worth it for just the weirdness of the season to really conclude in fantastic fashion. To me, I'm not even focusing on the NFC because I think that's just a deep group. I don't think you can really place bets against anyone. Maybe the Eagles, but I think the Eagles just have a very talented roster, so if they just turn it on down the stretch, I wouldn't be surprised. The Titans and Jaguars are the surprise. I want to focus and spotlight them. pull it off. I'll gladly do some bidding for them if they do it. So
Sweet.
that's what's on the line this weekend. So if your predictions go as planned, go Cubs. The Jaguars will be in line for $50 if they could also beat the Patriots next week.
Yeah, who knows?
We'll see. Anyways, guys, that's it.
Long.
What did you want to do for your last Super Bowl prediction? For your next one, because I know you want to kind of...
I don't...
just pick two teams that you feel confident in right now.
I'm going to do the ones that you did earlier this season, Vikings, Jaguars.
Vikings, Jaguars? Okay, so yeah, right now my Super Bowl pick was Saints, Steelers, but you're going to take Vikings, Jaguars.
Yeah.
I really hope it's Vikings, Jaguars.
I fucking hate that. That's not going to happen.
But
I'm not a betting man, but I would not take that bet if I had $3 to my name.
Yeah. I understand. But I really hope for your sake and for my sake and for everyone's sake that who just want to see new teams that we get that kind of Super Bowl matchup. It'll be a lot of fun.
If it's Eagles Titans, I'm gonna riot.
Oh yeah, that would be the roughest matchup. I think I have it like close to the bottom of the charts of.
I have one more Blake Bortles fact before we leave.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Blake Bortles and Tom Brady combined for 5 NFL Super Bowl wins.
God damn it. It's true. It's true though. It is 100,000% true.
You cannot debate this, for it is fact.
By the way, I'm sorry, one more thing on Blake Bortles. So Bortles goes out, I guess it was yesterday, and he says that someone asks him about the criticism that he gets, and he's just like, well, like LeBron James, he gets a lot of criticism too, and so of course people are going to criticize me. And I'm paraphrasing, of course, but people are like, oh, well, he's comparing himself to LeBron James. What a fucking idiot. And I'm like sitting here like, that's not at all what he said. He's just saying that even one of the best NBA players of all time will get criticism for even if it's absolutely not justified.
There's people who think LeBron James sucks, so if that happens, I'm sure there will always be people who always think I suck.
Right.
That is the quote.
Right. So, like, I understand that it appears as a comparison. I understand that some media outlets are going to run it and have a field day with it. I totally understand it. But give me a break, guys. You're stretching now. You're really trying hard to knock down the Bortles ship. Well, guess what? He's going to ride into Pittsburgh and beat their ass. And he's going to go into New England and beat their ass. And then the Jaguars are going to win the Super Bowl.
Bortle up.
Jag off. Bortle up. Thank you so much for watching, everyone.
That's the spirit.
If the Jaguars are gonna get eliminated, and we're just gonna have an in memoriam for the rest of the podcast on next week. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Be good to one another. Be kind to one another. And we'll see you guys next time. Jag off. Bye bye.
Like, go ahead, just go. Go do it. You know you want to.